Hey, how's it going? So I came across this really cool website called SQL Query. I'll pull it up here on the screen in a second, but essentially what it is it looks like it's a game or a gamified detective case where you're going to use your SQL skills to figure out who was the murderer in this mystery. So let's just jump right in. So first things first, you'll see SQL Murder Mystery. And so this is the story. This is what's going on. They say a crime has taken place and the detective needs your help. The detective gave you the crime scene report, but you somehow lost it. You vaguely remember that the crime was a murder that occurred sometime on January 15th, 2018, and that it took place in Sequel City. So let's start by retrieving the corresponding crime scene report from the police department's database. All right, let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little better. Sweet. Exploring the database structure, if I run this, it'll give us all of the tables in this database. And then if I run this, it's going to give me all of the columns or fields inside of this database. So that's helpful. So the schema diagram, or in other words, the entity relationship diagram, you'll often see that or see those terms interchangeably in the, I guess, in the corporate world or anywhere, where a data analyst might exist. So essentially what this schema diagram is it's every table plus their columns. And what's cool is that when you have a schema diagram or an ERD, entity relationship diagram, it's going to show you the relationship between every table. So in this case, we've got person, looks like the primary key here is ID. And if we wanted to join it to the driver's license table, for instance, then you would use the ID column from the driver's license table to join to the person table using the license ID field. So since we've got this entity relationship diagram, we can go ahead and get started. Super easy or super efficient when we have something like this visually, as opposed to having to query the table every single time just to get a list of what the columns are. So anytime you can produce a visual like this, an ERD, to show you what sort of tables you might need to pull data from, is very convenient and very handy to have before you actually start coding any of your projects or work requests. So let's get started. First things first, let's just find the crime scene report from their database. So select from the crime scene report table. I'm interested in the description, so we're going to pull that. But we're going to filter, so we're going to use the where statement to filter our stuff so that it only returns any crimes that was a murder type. So where type equals murder and date equals, where date equals 2018, and then the month, which is January, and then the day, which is the 15th. Okay, and then any other condition, and it took place in Sequel City. Cool, so let's make sure that the city is also SQL City. All right, and let's run that. Data return. Okay, so I think what's going on here is that it says that it occurred sometime on January 15th, so maybe there might not be any data. Maybe it's actually near or around that date. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab everything up until February 1st. So it's going to capture everything from January 1st to February 1st. So let's see if we capture any data that way instead. So we're going to say where the date is going to be less than or equal to 2018, and we're going to want February 1st. Sweet. Now, if I run this, I would expect to see a couple. Okay, cool. So we bring back 3. Someone killed the guard. He took an arrow to the knee. Skyrim reference for those of you that play that game. Security footage shows that there were 2 witnesses. The first witness lives at the last house on Northwestern Drive. The second witness, named Annabelle, lives somewhere on Franklin Avenue. Okay, so I'm not a betting man, but I bet this is the clue that we need to follow up on. So now let's split up and look for clues. I'm just kidding. So we have 2 witnesses. So let's follow up with those witnesses. We know one of them lives on Northwestern Drive. So let's start there. The person table. So select from the person table And what we are trying to pull is first witness. So we're gonna want a name to see who this person is. So let's get the name, and we're gonna get the address number, and we're gonna get the address street name from the person table, and then we're gonna filter on this condition here, Northwestern Drive, where the address street name equals Northwestern Drive. There we go. Order by address number in descending order, because we want to pull the last number, or the greatest number in this case, the maximum number, house. So when I run this, we should get order by, oops, let's remove that, and address street name. Sheesh, I do not know how to type. There we go. Okay, so these are all the members that live in this, or all the people that live on this street name. But we only want this person here, Morty Shapiro. So Morty Shapiro is one of the witnesses that witnessed this murder. So let's get a little organized and put down our clues here, right? So Morty Shapiro, 419 Northwestern Drive. So he was our first witness, and remember there were two. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go and check out the other witness, grab whatever info we can with them before following up with both of these leads. Grab that information too. That was our second witness, remember. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to pull their transcripts to get their statements, or from the interrogation room. I don't know. I wouldn't think they get interrogated if they witnessed the murder, right? Maybe they called, who knows? Okay, so now let's go pull their transcripts, right? Here we go. So person ID, and their transcripts. So we know that 14887 is Morty. So Morty said, I heard a gunshot and then saw a man run out. Holy smokes. He had a Get Fit Now gym bag. Okay. The membership number on the bag started with 48Z, and only gold members have those bags. Okay. And the man got into a car with a plate that included H42W. Dang, Morty. This guy saw the whole thing, pretty much. Then we got Annabelle, who said, I saw the murder happen. Holy. You saw the murder happen? That's crazy. At the gym? Can you imagine that? Anyways. And I recognized the killer from my gym when I was working out last week on January the 9th. Okay. So, we've got a lot of clues here, and again, let's get organized, right? So what do we know? Our suspect is potentially a man. He had a Get Fit Now gym bag. Membership status equals gold. His plate contains H42W. And potential crime date is January 9th. Jan 9th of 2018, I suppose. We'll leave it as January 9th for now. So let's follow up with the license plate, because I think that's the easiest thing to do for now. So we're gonna select the ID, the gender, number, plate number from the driver's license, where, here's our filtering condition, where the plate number is like, again, because we don't know exactly what it is, we just know a little piece of it, so we're going to match on that specific string. So like H42W, like that, and because this is a like statement, I don't know if it starts with H42W or if it ends with H42W, so I'm just gonna wrap it in between these wildcards so that it just finds this pattern, this four character pattern anywhere in the license plates database. So if I run this, sweet, we got 3 back. We have a suspicion that our murderer is a male. These are 2 suspects we can follow up on. Now we've got more clues to add. Look at that, we're already detectives. You'll be able to work at a police station after this. I'm just kidding. Of course, you do whatever you set your mind to. Switch it up a little bit. So we've got information from multiple different tables. And what we need to do now is grab a little bit of information from this table, grab a little bit of information from that table, maybe grab a little bit of information from another table, and we have to be able to accurately connect these tables to return data that we care about. And now what we're going to do is we're going to join on a couple tables, but for now, let's keep it simple, right? We're going to start with the driver's license table because we have that information. So we're going to alias this driver's license table as we'll just do DL, right? Driver's license dot ID, dot ID, and then we're going to get the driver's license dot plate number. And now here, if I just run this like normally, we're just going to get a bunch of information, but we have this information we want to follow up on. So for now, let's just join to the persons table. So we're going to do a join person, and I'm going to alias this table as P. So now that I've got that established, actually not yet, on. So whenever you join, you have to use an on condition. So you're going to join this table on this condition. And in this case, this condition is the person table. If we look up, you'll see the person table. The license ID is what connects to the driver's license ID. So here we're going to do person.license ID like this equals, this is what's going to connect or join the two tables or bridge the two tables. License ID equals driver's license. So driver's license dot ID. So this code right here has successfully connected those two tables. Now I can pull anything from the persons table. So we're going to do person.name, person.id. Person.id. If I run that, here we go. So now we've successfully connected the ID table to the driver's license table, right? Or backwards, sorry. So our suspect is involved with the gym, and the gym's called getFitNowMember. So how can we join the gym table to our persons table? And again, if we look at this schema diagram, it looks like the person.id column can be joined to the getFitNowMember.personID column. So that's exactly what I'm about to do. And I'm going to connect those two tables so that I can pull in their membership status. Because if you recall, one of our clues is that this membership status is gold. So that's going to filter in our list and we'll see what we get back, what we return. So let's go ahead and again join on the getFitNowMember. Just alias this as the gym because that's what it is, right? Gym on dot person ID equals persons table dot ID field. So now that we've got that established, I am now able to pull any column from this table. So again, we were only interested in the membership status. So let's pull that in. If I run this, sweet. So you see we've got gold, regular, silver, gold. So we successfully brought it in. And now, if you recall, potential crime date was on January 9th. So January 9th is when this crime happened, which means that this murderer was at the gym on January 9th. And if you look at this table over here, getFitNow check-in, well, that's telling us, or that will tell us who, because membership ID, so which one of the gym members checked in what day, and then checked in at what time, and checked out at what time. So in our case, we want to pull in the check-in date because we have a suspicion that this crime happened on January 9th. So let's join to that table as well. So we're going to join to the getFitNow check-in on. So let's name this check-in as CI. So check-in. So check-in dot membership ID equals gym.id. So now that we've established this connection, we can now pull tables or pull columns from this table. And so from the check-ins table, we are only concerned with the check-in date. So if I run that, no such table, get fit now check-in. Did I get fit now check? Okay. It's check in like that. Cool. And if I run it, ta-da! So these are the check-in dates. Now let's start filtering. So let's not forget, one of the things we were first looking at was the plate number, like H42W. If I run that, it filters it. Oh wow, it actually filtered it to just one person already. So that saved us a lot of work. Sometimes you'll have to filter for multiple conditions, but I ran it just to see what would happen. So check this out. All of these tables combined gave us one person. So this Jeremy Bowers, who has an ID of, I should have done a better job of naming these. So this might be a gym ID, or this might be a gym ID, I don't know. So this is person ID. So we have Jeremy Bowers. He has that code inside of his license plate because his car is registered under his name and his license plate has this code or this text, and his gold membership, and he has a gold membership status. And we have proof here that he did check in on January the 1st or January 9th on 2018, exactly how we thought, right? So January 9th, 2018, Jeremy Bowers was seen at the gym, has a gold membership status, got into his car, took off, 2 people saw him. So I think Jeremy Bowers might be our prime suspect. I'm gonna copy this guy's name and check your solution. Did you find the killer? I don't know, let's find out. Insert into solution values. We're gonna pull just the first value. Insert the name of the person you found here. We think it is Jeremy Bowers. If I run that, hooray! We did it, congrats. You found the murderer. But wait, there's more. Uh-oh. If you think you're up for a challenge, try querying the interview transcript of the murderer to find the real villain behind this crime. If you feel especially confident in your SQL skills, try to complete this final step with no more than 2 queries. Interesting. Use this same insert statement with your new suspect to check your answer. Okay, so Jeremy Bowers was just a henchman. This guy folded under pressure, and apparently there's a transcript out there with more information to find out who the mastermind is. Well, I'm actually happy that we figured that one out. It wasn't hopefully too difficult. That one was fun. I thought it was going to be a little longer, but I hope you learned something. In part 2, we'll dive a little bit deeper into who the mastermind is and hopefully bring them to justice using our cold hard SQL skills. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.